I used to believe that sales was something you were either born being naturally good at or something you could just fake your way through until you got your lucky break. And honestly, I wasted so much time trying to overcompensate for my lack of confidence. Hours on mood boards, long wedding consultations, fancy proposals, just hoping they'd say yes. But the game changed for me when I learned this. Sales is just a skill. And like any skill, it gets a whole lot easier when you've got the right strategies and you know a few shortcuts. And we all know as floral designers, there are 100 and probably 101 places that you can turn to if you want to learn about mechanics, floral design, color theory, flower care, even how to grow your own flowers. But how do you actually become a pro at selling any of those things? Because the reality is you could be the world's greatest, most qualified floral designer, but without mastering the fundamentals of sales, you'll never run a successful business and you'll never make enough money. So that's what we're going to do. In this video, I'm going to share 3 simple sales strategies you can use to increase your profits this week without any new tech, no fancy tools, and it works even if you're hugely introverted, you don't really want to have small talk with your customers, and you just generally don't like selling. That's the beautiful thing about learning these strategies is once you understand what you need to do, then it gets really, really fun. So take these strategies, make them your own, put them to work in your business, and then watch the magic unfold. Because that's what it feels like when you see this in action. Number 1, price anchoring. Price anchoring is actually just based on human psychology. And the simplest way to describe it is the idea of if you wanted to sell a $1,000 watch, the best strategy that you could follow is to put a $10,000 watch next to it. For florists, it means if you wanted to sell more $100 bouquets, the best strategy that you could apply is to put designs that are $300 or $400 right next to the $100 bouquet. That's the concept of price anchoring. And it's just simple human psychology, but florists don't use this strategy enough. There's 3 ways that you can actually use price anchoring in your business. So there's the literal way, like anywhere that you are displaying the price of any one of your designs. Let's say you have a retail shop and you have a little corner where you've set up your ready-made grab-and-go designs. You can increase the average price that a customer will pay for any one of those grab-and-go designs simply by putting a more premium priced product in the mix. So you can keep your $60, $80, $100 designs, but also if you include in those grab-and-go designs a design that is $300 or $400, you're going to see an increase in the number of customers who will actually grab the $100 bouquet or $150 bouquet. Because in your customer's mind, it's simply a different point of comparison. So that $100 feels more acceptable to them if they're comparing it to $300. Whereas if they're just comparing it to the lower priced products, they're always just going to go with the lowest priced solution. The second way that you can use price anchoring in your business is to look at the images that you use in your marketing. So on your website, in your social media content, anywhere that you are featuring an image of a design, keep this one in mind. Your dream clients want to see premium work. So fill your feed with lush installations, premium bouquets, high value arrangements, because those budgets visually will set the expectation with your customers. So if your dream wedding client is, let's say, a $5,000 bride, make sure that every single photo that you post to social media and the photos that you have featured on your website reflect the kind of work that a $5,000 client is going to ask you to create. Same concept goes if your dream client is $20,000 to $40,000. The images that you show have a tremendous impact on the quality of customers that come your way. So when we're thinking about that $5,000 bride, make sure that your Instagram feed is filled with lush archways, premium arrangements, abundant table runners, like things that really set the tone and the expectation in terms of what a $5,000 bride wants. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about your images on your website and on your social media content, because those provide visual cues and set the tone, even if there isn't an actual price tag attached to it. The abundance of blooms will reflect the kinds of budgets that your customers are going to show up with. And then the third thing to keep in mind is that the reverse is also true. So if you're attracting low value, low budget customers and your dream is to attract more premium high-end clients, then take a few minutes to audit your website and audit your Instagram content and ask yourself, am I just posting with no strategy and hoping that it's all going to work itself out? Or am I intentionally curating my feed and curating the images on my website in line with my dream client? Are the photos that I'm posting reflective of the budgets that I want to be asked to work with? Or am I just kind of using the photos that I have at hand because it's easy? And I did that for a really long time. And when I finally sat down and looked at my Instagram content and I was like, why am I only getting inquiries for brides with $500 to $1,000? I realized it's because my Instagram feed was just filled with bouquets and buttonholes. And there was no evidence for my customer to show her that I could create those beautiful archways or long table runners or beautiful bridal tables or those feature ceremony arrangements. So taking a few minutes just to go in and archive any of those low value posts that you have on your Instagram feed and then planning for the future, knowing, okay, your next post is going to be about your next customer, and making sure that your visual content is in line with the kinds of budgets that you want to get asked to create. The second strategy is getting your website to do the selling for you. And in today's day and age of being a high profit florist, your customers expect your website to do the heavy lifting. They want easy ordering, instant information, and very clear next step. They don't want to wait until you're going to get back to them on an email. They don't want to send you a DM. They don't want to even have to call you. They don't want to wait until your shop is open in the morning. They want answers and they want them now. And the thing to remember here is that premium clients, the good customers, know that they're paying for way more than just flowers. They're paying for the ease and convenience of online ordering. They're paying for having the right expertise at their fingertips. And they want to be able to make some key decisions without actually having to talk to a florist or wait to hear back from you. So getting your website doing the selling for you will give you a whole new perspective in terms of how simple and easy selling gets to be as a florist. And these days it goes so much deeper than simply having the functionality for somebody to be able to send flowers or order flowers online. It includes brides who want to have some understanding of what their budget will get them, helpful information for a family planning a funeral, and answering those frequently asked questions for somebody who's thinking about committing to a subscription. It is so helpful if you take your expertise and you wrap it up in a very simple, easy to navigate structure on your website and thinking of your website exactly the same way that you think of your shop. If a customer walks in, they've come to you because they see you as the expert. They need help, they need expertise, they need guidance, they need answers. Your website gets to fulfill exactly the same functionality. But the best part is you don't have to talk to anybody. And this really sets the tone for positioning your business as the go-to florist in your area. And this one isn't about having an overwhelming amount of content. Instead, I want you to think about the structure of your website and the flow of the content on your website as very intentional and very purposeful. Things like a budget planner or price guides that are sitting on your website that are easy for your clients to access. Creating FAQs and planning tips for your brides. Same concept applies for a family planning a funeral and for somebody who's signing up for a subscription. So having really clear headings, simple next step, and helping your customers navigate through their purchase process with ease is how your customers showing up ready to pay in full. So one quick thing you can do today is just look at the buttons or the calls to action on your website and make sure that they are very simple and very action oriented. So using phrases like book now, inquire here are going to help you actually get the sale. So making sure that that language is really simple and really action focused. And when you look at the role of your website within the overall strategy of your business, remember, Premium clients value self-sufficiency. They want that one-stop shop of online shopping, but also remembering that you're dealing with customers that value expertise and they need help. And yes, they want more than what the relay or wire services are currently offering up. They want to know that there's real people behind your business. They want to see that you care, and they want to be able to self-serve 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we've talked about price anchoring. We've talked about the power of your website. Now let's talk about the power of your messaging, because this is where you can truly separate yourself from the competition and become an absolute magnet for the good customers. And again, without ever having to talk to anybody. And if we take an example of a typical bride who is going through the process of planning their wedding, it's probably going to be Monday night at 9 p.m. She's just finished a long day at work. She's gone to yoga. She's made dinner. And now she's just sat down with her fiance and they're watching a few episodes of their favorite show. She picks up her phone or she picks up her laptop and she's thinking, I'm going to multitask. I'm going to do a little bit of digging. We know exactly the venue that we're going to get married at. I think I know who my photographer is going to be. Now it's time to figure out who the florist might be. So she goes down the rabbit hole, remembering that it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night. But she is on a mission. She wants answers at her fingertips, guidance on what her budget's going to get her, ideas that could help inspire her ceremony, some basic understanding of seasonal availability, and most importantly, how the heck this whole wedding flower planning process actually works. Because remember, she's never done this before. And because it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night and she's got a full-time job and she's a human being living a full, amazing life, she doesn't want to wait until you get back to her initial email. She's got a full-time job. She's stressed out at work. She's managing an entire wedding. She's got a crazy mother-in-law. Waiting around for the florist to get back to her isn't her top priority. So set up your messaging with the right content that meets your customers where they're at so that she can answer those questions in her own time. And she's going to fall in love with you so fast. And in fact, she's not going to care if your flowers are 20% more expensive than everybody else in your area, because she already sees the value in what you offer. She understands how the process works. You've already empowered her to have a general sense of what her budget's going to get her. You've given her your top 10 tips to help her make the most of her budget for her wedding day. She literally is like, I've got my credit card in my hand. Are you available on the 4th of November? How do I pay? And this one thing can feel very counterintuitive, particularly in our industry, because it's so closed off, because it's so hush-hush, because nobody's sharing any information. But that's the secret sauce, is because your competition is not sharing information. They're making it really hard for customers to order from them, to understand seasonal availability, to feel empowered to spend as much money as they want to spend. When you do the exact opposite of what you see your competition doing, you immediately begin to attract the good customers. So let it be awkward, let it be uncomfortable, and share all of your secrets, because that's what your customers want. When you align your messaging and meet your clients where they're at, they are going to fall in love with you so fast. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, because that's when you actually will have more creative flexibility, more freedom in terms of the ingredients that you get to use, and you're going to be creating some of the best work you've ever created in your business because you know the right strategy to follow. It's so much more fun to set your marketing and your sales process up this way, and I promise you, it is so effective. So look for places that you can use price anchoring in your business. Get your website doing the selling for you. Align your messaging with what matters most to your customers. And you're going to see how much fun and how simple selling gets to be as a florist, even if you're introverted. I promise you, it works. And remember, when it comes to getting really good at sales, you don't need to be famous. You don't need to be the most outgoing, charismatic person on the planet. You simply need to know the right strategies. And these 3 sales tactics changed everything for me in my business. And I know that they're going to work for you too. And if you found this video helpful, then be sure to check out this video. I share the 3 photos that every florist needs to sell more flowers. And it's the ultimate shortcut to instantly elevating your brand and increasing your average order value so that you can make more money and be more profitable. And I'll see you in the next video.